Good morning, good morning. Hope you guys are well. Let me update my little sheet over here. We are now on the 29th of Jan. So good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning. A little bit later start today. I had a little bit of work to do this morning. But lovely to see you all now. Are we up and running? Yeah, we are sick. So yeah, today we're going to be looking at the charts. I'm going to be showing you something that I found that was interesting yesterday. Let me just take a look at the overall data, and let me look at Forex Factory as well, just to get a scope of the day, so we can prepare. So first things first, Forex Factory, what do we have today? Forex Factory, we have a governor speaking for the UK, for the pound later on. We've got CAD interest rates, looking to reduce the interest rates. Why is that? Probably to reduce inflation. What is Canadian current inflation rate? Ooh. It's lower than the long-term average. It's already pretty low, so I wonder why they're looking to reduce their rates. To downsize cuts as tariffs grow, potentially. Let me just move this so I can see everyone. So yeah, that'll be interesting at 2:45. Then we've got FOMC today. Big day. And this is when obviously we're going to look and see what the fund rates are going to be. Now, if you look at the Financial Times, it looks like we can see if Trump is actually showing if he's going to. He's previously tried to force a change in the interest rates. Let me just read this. It looks like he's going for the big, the big push through right-wing policies, which at the moment I don't think is going to be the best of interest. Interesting to see. US tech sector, yeah. So we obviously had that big Nvidia news, which was vastly interesting. A lot of stocks fell because of it. Some of them don't like the competition, but I think healthy competition is always needed. Just gonna do a little word on. So we'll have a little deep dive into the markets. We're just warming up in this first 10 minutes, and then we'll get going. We'll wait for people to come on. Wow, Sam Altman's looking at fast tracking it. Here we go. He's promised to keep up with the Chinese, which will be a big statement. Is Nvidia actually price? Well, it's retraced quite a bit, to be fair, but still down 10%. Does anyone in the chat want to tell me why? Why is it that Nvidia has a direct impact on this news? Okay, So let me get up my my little blog, and we'll start writing some information here. So I think this one is more investing. It's a good investing example. So I think this week, oh my god, you look at the market. So in terms of Nvidia, so the stock price fell pretty harsh to around 15% due to the competition, due to the rising competition with a Chinese company, DeepSeek. Now, I think what the issue was is that DeepSeek has been known to use less AI chips. And I'm just going to put here, think about demand. Okay. Now, obviously we know supply and demand, very, very simple concept. We can go into it a bit more. I'll get a definition from ChatGPT. Here we go. Why is it the worst song ever? So factors affecting demand, price of goods, income levels, substitutes and complements, consumer preference, trends, expectation of future prices, law of supply, production cost, technology, government policies, and number of suppliers. Market equilibrium occurs when quantity demanded equals quantity supplied at a specific price. This is called the equilibrium price or market clearing price. Shortage of price is too low and demand exceeds supply, and vice versa. So what we've been previously seeing with Nvidia is the fact that the chips are obviously in high demand. They're in high demand because people need them. Now, the reason why obviously the stock market has been doing so well is because of that reason. But what you need to remember is if there is an alternative, which looks like China found, where it uses less amount of chips, what does that mean? Well, in this example, less needed chips reduces demand because they can use less, reduces demand, and therefore less, and therefore supply can outweigh the demand, which obviously is not good for sales. So that's why, one of the reasons anyway. It's also very interesting to see that the US actually put things in place so that China could not buy as many chips as they wanted. They had a restrict amount. There's been people saying that actually they have a much larger amount. You just can't see it. So that's quite interesting to see. But also, I think it's down to I think them just finding better technology. Okay, let's take a look at the chart over here because I'm liking gold here. First things first, we're looking at gold. Gold is bullish. Gold is bullish, and we expect it to, right? It looks like the US market is starting to struggle. If you look at it in terms of fundamentals, we're starting to see that the US stock market is a little bit retracting. You could also probably see this with Bitcoin. Let's see. Yeah, so we've had a little bit of a contraction, you can see here. Back down to 97 it was on Monday. And that normally gives the spur on for gold to continue bullish. And that's why yesterday you saw quite a significant push. Because where do you need to put your money when US stocks and other different assets are a little bit in decline, it's gold, gold, gold. So let's take a look then. Daily time frame is closed bullish. Okay, we made a high, we came down, we closed bullish. Expect this candle to make a lower wick as it is doing, reflip and then drive and fill this wick would be nice. That would be good. Let me just do this if I can. Okay, yeah. So we've got obviously Goldie here. Daily time frame bullish. Sick. Let me get my EMA off. So now the 4-hour time frame, obviously, looks like we had a nice push bullish from Tuesday back up to this resistance. But it looks like now we're having a little bit of retracement. But I think the main things you can mark on here is obviously the 4-hour res, which is a little bit here, which makes sense. One sec, need to do something for Caitlin. Sorry, I had to do something there. So yeah, let me write on my 4-hour resistance. You can see it held previously as well here, so it's something to definitely remember when price gets back to 2,763. I would not want to be taking a buy unless it clears it. Take a look at the hourly time frame. We can start to see some new levels. So let me draw here. I have a resistance up here. So I'm drawing this from the left hand side, which is here. Price is held, then we broke above. So I mean, the main consensus to this is quite a simple gold day, to be honest, is waiting for gold to make some support and buy the fuck out of it. Because we know when price makes a high with overall bullish structure, we love to go retest the highs. We love to retest the highs. Where else could we retrace to, though? Yeah, makes sense here as well. This is previous resistance. Let me look on the 15. A little bit more on the 15 here. And actually, is there any news in the morning? Don't think there is there? No, there's not. Again, it's FOMC day. Normally, FOMC struggle with a little bit of volume as a whole, until obviously NY open, then a bit of volume comes, and then after that, it normally does relax. Let me take a look at this. Oh, there it is. So next thing I want to do is look at GJ and see where we go from there. I am cautious that I do want to finish my back testing on gold as quick as possible. I am nearly there. Got a couple more months to go. I might do a little bit of streaming on that tomorrow and maybe tonight. Okay, so let's take a look then. So currently pound yen, obviously we're getting 193 yen for each pound. Okay, now overall it's actually it's reasonably high for us. We've got actually quite a strong pound compared to the Japanese yen, but they have quite a lot of issues financially and economically in their country so far. So yeah, looking like the monthly candle, I mean, closed previous bullish. looking like it's made the lower wick, looking like it's rejected 190. Still expecting a little bit of bullish volume here. Weekly candle previously closed bullish. We've made a lower wick in the first part of this week. Still expect, I mean, you can see here pretty easily, we are between a range here and here. So we'll have to see whether it breaks either down or up for the long term. But in the current time, you can trade this range. Let me go here. So let's take a look at the daily time frame now. Let's get it into the candles a little bit more. So obviously we have a daily support, which is down here. We'll get this yellow like I always did. And then obviously we've got daily resistance. I mean, there's quite a lot of daily resistance all around these areas here. But again, we're still right slap bang in the middle of this zone, really. Yeah, that was quite a choppy day in October here. GJ's been quite in this range for a while, eh? Now let's just get in onto the lower charts. Let me go to the 4 hour. So 4 hour, let's bring some 4 hour zones. We've got a little bit of 4 hour res here. And then we have 4 hour support, which is here. So this is now the current zone we're in. Let's take a look down at the hourly and the 30 minute. Oh my god. Look at that Asian session. Wow, GJ's looking like a quiet pair here, eh? How big is this zone? It's not a bad zone. Yeah, really, really choppy candles here. You can see all the candles of the wicks. When you see a candle with a large wick and then it closed with a small body, it shows that price has moved through the time it's been open, but it hasn't really got any direction. So looking like a very, very slow pair here. So yeah, stay tuned for this. These Goldie buys. Same thing happened yesterday as well. I was actually looking to see if any of my setups were on. I think there were quite a few of them that made the lower wicks, which is pretty nice. Like this one here. Right, let's continue looking at this. So, yeah, and it looks like it's, from my understanding, China have done this on a pretty calculated day. They did it just after the Stargate was launched. So pretty interesting to see why they did that. Just to put a spanner in the US works here. Can we like zoom out of this? Like, why is it so? So you got to zoom in, but no zoom out, bro. Okay, here we go. Text view. Starbucks cracks down on paying visitors. Okay, front pages. I saw yesterday on TikTok a Concorde getting tested, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's take a look at this. Page 9. Page view. Let me go to page 9. Oh, is it there? No. Interesting. Prices have increased dramatically in the US since 2020. Yeah, inflation's been bad. US imports of vegetables from Mexico have surged. He's doing very bold things, Mr. Trump, but I don't think he's really thought them out. And he's going for Greenland. this is the one I want to read. HSBC to shut investment banking units lacking scale. HSBC will shut key parts of investment banking business in the UK as part of Chief Executive George's plan to overhaul its operations. Europe's biggest lender will close its merger and acquisitions advisory and its equity capital markets business outside Asia and Middle East, the bank said in a memo yesterday. So the units really don't have a scale, said a person with knowledge of the decision. It was a very tough job to build up to a level here where HB has a competitive edge. Now, there's a lot of stuff that I've been seeing in these news articles with things closing down, especially in the UK. And it's made me open my eyes a bit in terms of what's really going on. That Gary's Economics, I've really, really enjoyed his stuff because I was getting into investing and looking at, you know, specifically like the FTSE 100. And I'm like, why is it an all-time high, but we've got no, you know, in terms of the overall wealth in this country, we don't see any of it. And it's because we're getting owned by the fucking billionaires, bro. Here we go. 50-minute candle closed bullish on Goldie. No low wick, but still break of the high. Looking like we're getting the volume in. I mean, I suppose the only issue you have here is that the hourly candle has no bottom wick. We also have this grey line here, which was previous resistance. So you've got a little bit of a couple of probabilities against you there. You have previous rejection, but also, you know, look at all the candles. There's not many that don't have a bottom wick. So it's very, very likely, especially the fact it's got 56 minutes left, that this candle is going to make a lower wick. So I wouldn't wait on the buys yet. And I know that sounds a little bit, oh, Max, why do you care about there's no low wick? Well, just look at the chart, okay? Even this one has a little low wick. This one does not have a low wick. So if you're just placing it mainly on probabilities, the probability of this candle reflipping right now is pretty high. Not right now, sorry, in the next 56 minutes with it being open. If you look on the 30 minutes, same thing. Look how many candles have a top wick and a bottom wick. Now, does that mean you take the trade completely? Well, no, because I think we're overall here, we're bullish. So it wouldn't make sense. But if I got a candle that closed bullish like this, then this candle did the opposite and pushed down with no top wick, I'd take a buy there with stop loss probably below that wick. And that's what I've been doing on my back testing sessions, and it's been paying. I'm up 65% in I'm only 5 days into March, so 3 months, 65% is not bad. But yeah, just remember that. Just remember that, because that's the probability that everyone can see. There's no and ahhing, and there's no, oh, look at my strategy. Just look at the candles, right? If you take every single one of these candles, about 85-90% of them have a top wick and a bottom wick. I can see one there with a bottom wick, with no bottom wick. That one does have a bottom wick. But it means when you get a candle which is in the bias of the day, when it's bullish. So like, for example, if we are pushing up here, strong bullish candles, if these ones made a lower wick without a top wick, I'd be buying here, buying here, buying here. Obviously some of them don't, and that's fine, I leave them, but there's enough on the plate in the month to make a good, reasonable amount of profit, which is pretty good. So yeah, I mean, let's take a look and see. Is there anything to do with, let me just go here. See what the US talks about. Do we discuss, oh, fuck off. Why does it keep on telling me? I know. Let me take a look at this overall. So let me ask, Trump Trump, what's it called? FOMC prediction. So the Fed is set to hit the pause button on the rate cuts. This article says. So let me check and see, why are they doing this? Okay. So let me just do this a little bit down here because you can see it a bit more. Okay, borrowers hoping for more financial relief from the Federal Reserve may have a weight on their hands. Yeah, so currently, obviously, the interest rate is pretty high. It's 4.5%. So anyone that wants to borrow anything in terms of a business or as a consumer, it's going to cost you a reasonable amount, right? We get that. We did that in our last week's economic breakdown. The Fed is expected to hold its benchmark rate steady on Wednesday, as its current range between 4.25% and 4.5%, according to more than 9 in 10 economists polled by financial data site FactSet. Most economists also predict the Fed will hold off on cutting at its March 19th meet, which means the next rate cuts might not occur until the central bank's May 7th. So it looks like they're going to keep them the same. A January pause would mark an end to, at least temporary, to the Fed's flurry of rate cuts that started in September 2024. Yeah, we can see that, right? Because if you go here, you can see since September, so it was 5.4, and then we started getting down to 5.2, 5.1, 5, 4.9. So they've been gradually reducing it, and that's to reduce inflation, right? Simple. Why is it to reduce inflation? Well, if you guys don't know why, I can go in the comments, but make sure to ask if you don't know. Okay, that's fine then. Let me, In December, the Fed signaled that it's expected fewer cuts in 2025 than it is earlier projected, with Fed power pointing to inflation that remains above the central bank's goal of an annual 2% rate. On top of that, economists say it's likely the Fed want to take a wait-and-see approach to the Trump administration policies, such as adding new tariffs and widespread deportation of immigrants, which could prove inflationary. Why inflationary? I know tariffs would. For wasn't campaign in place, inflation nightmare bowing. If he wins a second term, he'll bring down prices very quickly, and if that scenario came to pass, it would be cheered by the millions of Americans who say high costs remain a major problem. Key policies that undergird so-called Trumponomics. A combination of tariffs, tax cuts, and crackdown on immigration are likely to cause a flare-up in inflation. That would be a painful outcome for consumers and businesses sapped by more than 2 years of surge in prices. More broadly, renewed inflationary pressures would also come as inflation is finally inching closer to the federal goal of 2%. So what I'm looking at here is a combination of tariffs, tax cuts, and crackdown on immigration. Why does that have an impact on inflation? Well, I'm thinking, for me, the tax cuts make sense because if rich people are, well, not rich people, but anyone who has been taxed less, that means they have more money to spend, and therefore supply increases, and therefore not supply increase, demand increases, and therefore cost of goods go up because of it. Tariffs, I understand it could be done by the other people, but by the other country that they put tariffs on. So, for example, if the US put 20% tariffs on China, China will then probably counter do that and put 20% goods and services on theirs, and obviously that's going to have an impact on the consumer, which will also increase it. And obviously, crackdown on immigration, I don't really know why that has an impact on inflation. Why does A cause inflation? See what ChatGPT says. Reduced labor supply, higher wages, higher prices. Many industries such as agricultural, construction, healthcare, heavily rely on immigration labor. A crackdown on immigration reduces the supply for workers, forcing businesses to compete for fewer available works for rising wages. Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I've definitely had my eyes opened up into what the right are doing that I sincerely wrong, but we're getting blindsided by it because you don't really know anything about economics. So this is the reason why I've started this channel. I want us to all learn a little bit more, because it's been pulled over our eyes basically, and once you see it, it's pretty blatantly obvious what's going on. So I'm here to show it as time goes on. Let me just I'm just pulling this over because this is more economics than it is investing. And then I compile it into one list, and then I'm going to share this drive when I've got enough information in it for people. So yeah, make sure to follow and like if you guys haven't already. Oh, look at this. Beautiful. Beautiful candle. Look at GJ. Yeah, GJ is... GJ 4 hours closed bearish below me. The top wick. 4 hour has no bottom wick. Interesting. So definitely with the 4 hours, with that probability. That was quite a nice 4 hour close actually. Did it go and retest anywhere? Previous zone. Yeah, it's not bad. Still got 45 minutes of this hourly though. Still a lot of time for it to make a lower wick. So again, if you've took buys here, taking profits would be nice, because again, we still know there's an 85 to 90% chance this is going to flip. And then when you go to your trading journal and you look at what you've done, that's the data you've got to go. You've got to write it down. Oh, I didn't close because I was a bit greedy. The candles didn't have bottom wicks, top wicks, and therefore I should have got out, or I should have not got out. One second. So what we discussed last time was the weighted average. We looked at where is it? The S&P and the FTSE 100. Now the S&P, and I want people to know this. When you're investing, please remember, investing 101, S&P 500. The companies are not split average, you know, through the whole 500 companies, okay? They are weighted. So last time we looked at weightings. So the reason why I want to tell you this is because you need to make sure that when you're getting into investing or whatever, just remember in the back of your mind, you're not spreading your diversification that greatly in terms of like the S&P, because I mean obviously there's loads of stuff in here, and yes, you know, it does help, but if you look at the weight, this is the most important here, right? The weight, because you can see the first, let's just say 9 companies, the first 9 companies have a serious amount of percentage through the whole pie, right? So we've got 7% there, 6, we've got 24, 20, 30. So this is, 1 second. So we've got 13, we've got 18, 19%, then we've got 23, 25, 27, 29. So around about the first 8 companies, there's about 30% of your equity is going to be in those companies. Now, obviously, they're good companies and, you know, they work well. But what you need to understand is look at these. Look at these companies. What are they all? They're all tech companies, okay? They're all classed as tech companies. I don't know what Broadcom is, but... so if the tech sector has a strange struggle, you're going to directly feel and see those impacts, okay? So what does that mean? Well, I think it's still great to obviously, you know, put your money in the S&P as time goes on, just as a pocket money thing. But I think diversifying, buying gold as well, buying real estate, buying gold, buying properties in that regard, but also looking at Asian stocks. So my goal for next month is looking at more Asian stocks because I want to spread it around the world because there's no point of having everything in one country. If that country goes to shit, it doesn't give you the diversification that you probably want. So, yeah. I hope that helps if you didn't know about that already. The weighted. Now, it looks like here, Apple has had a 3.2 fair. Actually, a lot of them have retraced. Look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA's retraced 8%, 9%. I think that's mainly for the part of NVIDIA still make the chips. There's no other chip that they are using. It's just they're using less of them. There's still a they're still the big powerhouse, right? Wow, did you get a dividend pay date? Wow, you get quite a lot of dividends. But I think the total for the year. Ah, look at this. Yeah, it's got lower and lower. Interesting. So what I want to know is why is Apple currently trending a little bit bullish, especially for the fact we have tomorrow we have Apple news coming out. Apple financial statements prediction. Oh, they're reporting it today, actually. Fuck. When does it come actually out? That's what I want to know. Projected income statement. So I think through the live streams, I want to know a bit more about this. I obviously understand EBIT, but I want to know all of it. I want to be able to read all of this. Because then you can make valid assumptions of the whole company as a whole. Apple's market cap is currently company's ETF is 6. Its PE ratio is. I haven't said anything. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see. It will be interesting to see. And there we go. Spoke about this morning how the easiest way to make gold money today is wait for a bullish 50-minute, 30-minute candle, and that's what it did. No low wick, which is a little bit annoying, but it is what it is. Massive push to the upside. Good stuff. I was a little bit later on today, but I had some work to do in the morning for my other work. But what do we expect later on? Well, I expect, look at this now, the daily candle's flipped. The daily candle has flipped, and we should expect the drive potentially up to these highs. Obviously, we have news later on, looking like the rates will stay the same from what news articles we looked at. But Trump may say something after that, which could cause gold to be quite difficult. So do be careful, because again, Trump is in power now. This is not going to be all plain sailing. You know, there's going to be some good movements, but there's also going to be some pretty hairy ones. And you know, we like a bit of both. But don't get caught up in Trump's speeches, because he has specifically told Fed Chair Powell to reduce the rates. And if he doesn't, then this is going to be interesting to see what Trump says about him. Again, causing more conflict for what? For what basis? Nothing much. It's just Trump's back in power, and he's going to cause as many issues as he wants. So stay tuned for that. I might come on later on to look at the federal fund rates when they come out. I think it could be quite good. But yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I'll be on tomorrow as well, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out, guys. Thank you very much. I'll see you later.